Alright, so I don't come across this much anymore, but I figure might as well put all these gray hairs out there on the internet, help somebody out. This is an air switch. So there's in the ground, there's a little button that they can press to turn their equipment on and off. And I've discovered that that is an issue. I'm going to show you how to diagnose them and repair. Oh, and because they're very rare, hardly anybody uses them. They don't keep them in stock anywhere out here, so I had to special order them.
So this is what this air switch looks like here. Tube plugs into this end here. Here's where your wires go. This is the part number. It was in this outlet here. And how I determined it was I went out there to press the button in the ground, which I'll show you in a minute. And I never got power. You know, I pulled off the cover of the motor here to check for power. There was never power to the motor. So I was thinking that, you know, there's probably not a problem with the motor. There must be a problem with the power source. I traced the wire back, and the first thing it goes into was the air switch here. When I opened it up, it did not get the continuity. So, and the way I tested the switch was I unplugged this air tube that goes to this end. I unplugged it and I cut a piece of it about this big and plugged it back in to the air switch while it was in there, and I blew into that to make sure that it wasn't an issue of the air switch not pumping air and activating the air switch. I mean, the button not pumping the air, making its way to the switch for it to activate. So by confirming that if I blew into it right there directly and it still didn't open up the continuity, then I knew for sure that the air switch was bad. So I went ahead and ordered the part. Here we go, I'll install it now. First thing you want to do is set up your workspace and get acquainted with what tools you're going to need. Just going to need the drill to unscrew those there. I got my little magnetic bowl here for the screws so I don't lose them, because that happens a lot. See, if they fall in the gravel somewhere around here, you'll be in a lot of trouble. So it's really useful to use that. Gloves if I want them, hand cleaning, rags, all the tools I need, everything's ready to go. Now the very first thing we want to do is kill all the power. So there we go. Power's off. Now we can open that up, and then we'll still test to make sure that there's no power to that. Okay, I confirm there's no power to either of these by going to each one with one lead and then to the ground. I used the ground right here on this time clock. So now I'm gonna go ahead and install the switch. This here's that button. I've installed the switch. Okay, so it started out, I didn't get it to turn on and off at the switch out there, so I went ahead and used this little plastic piece I cut the other day and blew in there, turned it on and off. I didn't get it to come on before, but I had this wire over on here, and I think that might just be giving it open power all the time. I moved it over to this one and turned it back, and it was getting no power, so then I had to blow into here, and that did get it to switch. So now I know, at least on this one, it should go on and off with here. Now I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to put in the actual one. Make sure it's in there good. And then we'll come over here to the air switch in the ground. See if that'll do it. There it goes.
All right, we're back in business. All right, well, now I got that job all wrapped up. The fun ain't over yet, because a while back, when I first got this account, maybe a couple months, maybe a month or half ago, something like that, if that even made sense, I put in this heater. And let me flip this over so you can see. The previous heater was destroyed. He just bought this house. It was destroyed because they had the salt cell on, but they didn't have a check valve, and that's kind of common. I have a video on that, but so I installed an anti-corrosion check valve. You want to make sure you do that. So that's this new plumbing here. I had to redo that. And there was a lot of tight plumbing. I had to redo stuff down there as well to make everything fit, the heater. And anyways, now we're noticing a leak on the chlorinator, as you can see right here, and that's because of this crack. Not crack there. So I brought my pipe stuff over here as well. This is my PVC toolbox. Open it up. We got some nice gloves for getting nasty. And then you know, this is a good wrench to have for when you're doing PVC. Among the other ones that I got in my other toolbox, which I didn't put away for that reason. I should have what I need here. I need a new union, and I'm gonna need a fitting extender. As you see here, we got this is the right union, the I-Core union. It's gonna go there, right? But in order to fit it, see, we got to put this. I don't have really much room here. I'm gonna put a fitting extender here, but that doesn't give me much room for that union. You can see, put it like this. So, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna cut right here and pull this pipe back a little bit, cut out a little of the pipe and put a coupling on there, and then we should be all set. Look at that. As it turns out, I have another union, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put another union there as well, rather than put a coupling. It looks like actually I'm gonna be lucky and I'll be able to just fit it right in here without having to do anything with this other side. There we go. Fit in there nicely. I didn't even have to cut off this other one here and replace that. So I'm all done with that stuff. And I guess in hindsight, I should have done this part first. I usually do, because then that way I could be working on the air switch while it dries. However, this pool has more problems as well. He was saying that this heater's leaking now as well. I'll have to check that out when I turn it on here in a minute. But there's also one more issue that we've got to do here. Their salt cell is hooked up. This is the power center for it, which is receiving its power from that GFI, which is receiving that power non-stop from this breaker here. And you only want these salt cells on and running when the filter time clock is on. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to run a wire from the load side of this time clock down back into this sub panel here and remove the wires that are connected to this GFI and connect them right here to this load side. So that only comes on whenever this is turned on. Alright, so this GFI is getting its power from this neutral and this power. I've confirmed this is a neutral. I went back over here to this breaker. And those white wires are going up to the neutral bar. So that means that I don't need to change that neutral. All I need to do is disconnect this power line and run one wire coming from the load side here down this one and up into here and over, and we'll connect that power to this wire, and we'll just cap this one and it won't be used. Okay, so I just poked a wire going down through there. It was getting a little stuck here, so I opened the bottom up and got the wire to poke out here. Now I'm just gonna put it inside here and pull it through. Okay, so if you follow, this is the power center that sends the power over to the iChlor. This is the GFI that it gets the power from, 120 volts. It's got this white neutral wire, which was already hooked up like that. This power wire, which I'm now discarding, I capped and coiled and put there, because I am now having its power, which was this line here. It was just connected here, but I put this wire here that is connected to now. I ran it down through this conduit up right here, as you see, and it's coming off the load side. So here's your line, here's your load. So whenever this opens, it transfers the power here, and then that sends the power down through this line, and then that powers up the GFI. I didn't need to move the neutral because that doesn't matter. It only needs, all that matters is the one leg of power, the 120 volt. And I didn't need to move the ground either. It's already grounded. So that's it. That should take care of that problem. Okay, let's see, we got it all put together. We turned it on. Now when the pump comes on, now we got power. All right, so now it'll turn on and off with the time clock. All done.